I'm Lillian, I'm 19 and I'm from Austin.
My name is Yasmin Evans. I'm from Austin, Texas. I'm 22 years old, and my favorite story is Stand By Me.
Hi, my name is Ruben. I am 21 years old and I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina.
What is your favorite story?
And why is this your favorite story?
And what's your favorite story?
My favorite story is about, I want to say like 4 years ago. I went to Europe and we went to Paris and we went to Disneyland Paris and we rode this ride and it was supposed to be like we thought it was a kid's ride, and so we were like super chill about it, and then we get on and it's actually insane. And my dad loses his phone on the ride and we went back like twice and they didn't find it ever. So yes.
This is my favorite story because I just love the film's aesthetic. It's based in the 1950s, and all of the characters are very relatable. They are young and they're on the brink of growing up and experiencing their lives, and the topics of friendship and grief really stand out to me.
My favorite story would probably be one, it's not long, one that my dad would always tell me about how when he, many years ago in the 90s, lived in California, he saw, it was at the same time that Nina Simone lived in California, the great jazz musician Nina Simone. And she, at this point in her life, was very old and was still playing regularly in the city. And he was teaching at high school at the time, and he saw that she was playing in a club like the next day, but he decided to, he was like, oh, he was gonna go, but whenever something came up and he was busy with work or something, and then the next day she died, and he always tells the story like, damn, like I could have just gone to see Nina Simone.
And why is this story important to you?
And why is this story important to you?
I think it's just really funny, and I also think it's kind of just like the world just, like life just moves on. Like in the moment it was like, oh boy, oh my god, this dude lost his phone, and it just felt like a really big deal, and we were in another country, which made the layers even more layered and more difficult. And yeah, and then but like we still had another country to visit after that, and it was still so fun. He was like a little bothered that his phone was gone, but we still had an amazing time, and it ended up being fine. And he didn't get a phone back until we were in the USA of America.
This story is important to me because the topic of grief is heavy, and I've experienced that with losing my father 2 years ago. And I can just relate to the main character a lot. He's a writer. I'm also a writer in the sense of filmmaking and screenwriting. And I don't know, I just really connect to the characters and how they feel about growing up. And I appreciate the value of friendship, and that's like a focal point in the story.
And I like that story a lot because I like it because it's a good story about how like you should just do things, like see the musicians that you want to see, go see them, because you don't know how long they're going to be around, and you don't know how long they're going to be playing or doing things. Yeah, not much. Should I redo that?
Zhuangzhou, an influential Chinese philosopher who lived around the 4th century before the Common Era, in the second chapter titled The Discussion on Making All Things Equal, reminds his readers, through rapid shifts in perspectives, that values and what is considered right and wrong are corresponding to a specific outlook. In the second chapter, he mentions a monkey and says, regarding mankind, if he lives in a tree, he is terrified and shakes with fright. But is this true of a monkey? Of these creatures, then, which one knows the proper place to live? Page 563. By comparing an animal to a human and highlighting the differences in their nature, he reminds the reader that different beings experience the same circumstances differently. Ultimately, that there is absurdity in finding definite answers to subjective truths. And I think this is why stories and communicating them are so important, because they build on our own perspectives, make us learn from others, and realize that not one person or thing are the same. And that is so exciting to me, because it means that we are all unique while moving forward in this life together. So, as Joe said on page 564, leap into the boundless and make it your home. Similarly, in Montaigne's essay titled On Cannibals, he critiques 16th century Europeans' concept of what a civilized society looks like in comparison to the indigenous people of Brazil, who are referred to as cannibals and barbaric due to their practices. He says, "We should be aware of clinging to vulgar opinions and judge things by reason's way, not by popular say." Page 1507. He persuades the reader using rhetoric to look at others' experiences not through your own lens, but try it through theirs. And in doing so, you gain a new perspective, more social awareness, and shed a layer of judgment. And to connect this to the power of storytelling, it is through Montaigne's visiting and talking to people from this part of Brazil, as well as the reader absorbing Montaigne's essay, that he and we recognize the importance of understanding cultures on their own terms rather than forcing and imposing our self-values as the standard. As seen at the beginning of this video, I asked 3 of my friends, Lillian, Yasmin, and Ruben, to share with me one of their favorite stories and why that story holds importance and is impactful to them. By listening to their stories and their reasoning behind why they are so valuable to them, I came to a conclusion, like Joe and Montaigne's essay also established, that there is no right or wrong answer to how they approached and ended their stories, that not one is superior to the other, and that we all come to this earth on different terms, brought up into who we are now in different ways. Our values all lay in different places, but we, in the knowing that we all share this one thing that makes us who we are, which are stories, brings us together. And as Zhuangzhou said, their dividedness is their completeness is their impairment. No thing is either complete or impaired, but all are made into one again. Page 560 from the discussion on making all things equal. Stories and how they are processed, received, and carried over through people and time have been a vital part of the functions that make up humanity. They can make us do things, act a certain way, or feel a certain way. They make us remember, forget, laugh, cry, and ultimately listen. In other words, pay attention and notice things that would typically pass our eyes. This is the power of storytelling and their impact in establishing our place and the places we want to go to in this world. And so, we should continue to listen intently to the stories we're told, the ones we tell ourselves and others, so that we continue to travel with purpose and expand our minds, hearts, and souls.
Wait, am I supposed to look at the camera or you?
I mean, you don't have to.
What did they do?
Damn. I said yuck. One more.